Hello and welcome to my channel Learn English 24/7. Have you ever felt like speaking English should be easier? Like you know the words, but when it comes time to speak, it's not as smooth as you'd like. Maybe you find yourself hesitating, or maybe you know exactly what you want to say, but the words just don't come out the way you expected. You might even get stuck or lose confidence mid-conversation. These are all common experiences for language learners, and I want you to know that you are not alone. Many learners, whether they are beginners or more advanced, face similar challenges. And guess what? It's completely normal to feel this way when learning a new language. The good news is, it doesn't have to be this hard forever. The key to speaking English fluently lies not in memorizing tons of words or cramming complicated grammar rules into your head. Instead, it's all about practicing and using the language in ways that feel natural to you. You've probably heard this before, but it's true. The more you practice, the better you get. And in today's video, we're going to show you how to do just that, speak English with ease. In this video, we'll help you speak English with ease. Our goal is to focus on fluency practice through graded readers and simple stories that make learning fun and natural. We understand that traditional language lessons can sometimes feel repetitive or overwhelming, so we're bringing you a different approach. With graded readers, you can practice speaking and listening with stories that match your current level. No stress, just practical language that you can use in everyday conversations. We're going to break down a simple story together, so you don't just read or listen to it passively, but actively engage with the language. This way, you'll not only understand the meaning of the words, but you'll also start using them in context, making it easier for you to use them in real-life conversations. By the end of this video, you'll feel more comfortable with your English and have new tools to continue improving. No more second-guessing your speaking abilities. Fluency in English doesn't just mean knowing a lot of words, it's about speaking comfortably and naturally. When you think of a fluent speaker, you probably imagine someone who can express themselves clearly, without pausing to search for words or worrying about making mistakes. That's exactly what we're aiming for. Not perfection, but natural, effective communication. Fluency means being able to hold conversations, share your thoughts, and understand others without feeling stuck or frustrated. But let's be clear, fluency doesn't come overnight. It takes time, effort, and consistent practice. That's why it's so important to practice speaking every day. Even if you start with just a few minutes each day, this consistent practice adds up over time. When you make speaking English a regular part of your day, you'll notice yourself becoming more comfortable. Soon, speaking will feel like second nature, and the hesitation will start to fade away. Fluency is not about knowing every word or grammar rule perfectly, it's about feeling confident and comfortable when you speak. So, what can you expect from today's video? We'll go through a simple story, breaking it down step by step, and focusing on key phrases and vocabulary that will help you speak more easily and confidently. Throughout the video, we will point out important words, expressions, and grammar structures that are commonly used in conversations. These are words that you can start using right away to sound more natural when speaking. We will also give you practical examples of how to use these phrases in real-life situations. In addition to focusing on vocabulary, we'll also talk about the rhythm and flow of English. One of the keys to speaking fluently is understanding how words fit together in sentences. By learning these patterns, you'll be able to speak more smoothly and with less hesitation. We'll also practice pronunciation together, as saying the words correctly is an essential part of fluency. You might be wondering, but how do I know if I'm doing it right? That's a great question. We'll guide you through everything, and you'll be able to practice each new phrase out loud, repeating after us. This way, you get the chance to hear it and say it yourself, helping you remember it better. And if you make mistakes, don't worry. Mistakes are part of the process, and they help you improve faster. The key is to keep practicing, even when things don't seem perfect. As you watch, try to repeat what you hear out loud. Don't just listen passively, engage with the language. The more you speak, the easier it will be to speak English with confidence. This is not just about watching a video, it's about actively participating. The more you practice speaking and listening, the more natural it will become. You don't need to worry about sounding perfect. Focus on getting the words and phrases right, and soon, they will become second nature. Remember, the goal is not perfection, it's fluency. And fluency comes from practice, consistency, and the willingness to keep going, even when things feel challenging. So, take a deep breath, and don't be afraid to try speaking. Every time you do, you're one step closer to fluency. So, get ready, and let's dive into the story. As we go through it, feel free to pause, repeat, and practice the sentences we focus on. The more you practice, the easier it will be to speak English with confidence. Let's begin. Meet Emma, a regular person who just wants to live a peaceful life. She enjoys the simple things, walking through her quiet neighborhood, sipping coffee at her favorite cafe, and spending time with her family. Emma's life has always been calm and predictable, and she's happy with that. She works from home, and her biggest worry each day is making sure she has enough time to relax after finishing her tasks. But little does Emma know, her life is about to take an unexpected turn. One morning, as Emma is reading the news over breakfast, she comes across an article about a new job opportunity at a company she admires. It's a position she had dreamed of for years, but it's in a big city far from where she lives. The job sounds perfect, and the idea of new challenges excites her. But there's a catch: she needs to improve her English fluency to qualify for the position. This is where Emma's peaceful life begins to change. Up until now, she had been comfortable speaking English in everyday situations, but she had never felt confident speaking at work or in professional settings. The thought of speaking English fluently in interviews or meetings makes her nervous. Yet, the opportunity feels too good to pass up. Emma knows she has to take action. This marks the beginning of Emma's journey. She is faced with a new challenge, one that forces her to step out of her comfort zone and face her fears about speaking English. What will she do? How will she tackle this challenge and find the confidence she needs? Let's follow Emma's journey as she works toward her goal of fluency and embraces a whole new world of possibilities. One day, Emma faces a big challenge. She needs to improve her English fluency in order to apply for the job of her dreams. At first, she didn't know what to do. Emma had always been comfortable with casual conversations in English, but this job required her to speak confidently in interviews, presentations, and meetings. She realized that her current level of fluency wouldn't be enough to impress her potential employers or handle the demands of the role. The pressure weighed on her. The thought of having to speak fluently in front of others made her anxious. She worried about making mistakes, forgetting words, or not being able to express herself clearly. Emma knew that improving her English skills wouldn't be an easy task. She had tried language classes in the past, but the progress was slow, and the material often felt too difficult or disconnected from real-life situations. Despite these challenges, Emma knew she couldn't let this opportunity slip away. She had always wanted a more fulfilling career, and this job was a chance for her to make a real change. But the road ahead was uncertain, and she wasn't sure where to begin. Would she be able to reach the level of fluency needed to succeed? Would she be able to speak English with the confidence she needed? This was the moment when Emma realized that to achieve her dream, she would have to step out of her comfort zone and find a way to improve her English. The question was, how could she do it? At first, Emma felt stuck. She knew the words and phrases she needed in English, but when it came time to speak, they never seemed to come out right. Her sentences felt disjointed, and her confidence was nowhere to be found. Emma tried to prepare by reading books, watching videos, and even attending online English classes, but the problem still remained. She felt frustrated and unsure of what to do next. Then, Emma realized that fluency wasn't something that could be achieved overnight. She needed a different approach, one that would allow her to speak more naturally and without hesitation. That's when she decided to immerse herself in more practical, everyday English. Instead of focusing on complicated grammar rules or memorizing vocabulary, Emma started practicing with graded readers, books specifically designed for English learners at different levels. These books used simple language and short, manageable sentences, making it easier for her to understand and follow along. She also began to listen to stories that were related to real-life situations. This helped Emma to recognize how English speakers used words in context, allowing her to feel more comfortable using them in her own conversations. At first, it was difficult. There were words she didn't understand, and she struggled with some of the phrases, but Emma kept going. Every day, she dedicated time to listening, reading, and repeating sentences aloud. Slowly but surely, her confidence began to grow. As the days passed, Emma noticed small improvements. She could understand the stories better, and she started to repeat the sentences more fluently. Gradually, she found herself using new words and phrases in her conversations at work. She felt less nervous during meetings and was able to express her ideas more clearly. Each day brought a new challenge, but Emma no longer saw those challenges as obstacles. Instead, she saw them as opportunities to learn and improve. Emma's journey wasn't easy, but she understood that persistence was key. The more she practiced, the easier it became to speak fluently. What once felt like an overwhelming task now seemed more achievable. Emma had learned that learning English wasn't about perfection, it was about consistent practice and building confidence one step at a time. By taking small, manageable steps, Emma was finally on her way to becoming the confident English speaker she had always wanted to be. Through consistent practice, Emma slowly began to see changes. She continued using graded readers, focusing on simple stories and real-life scenarios that mirrored the challenges she faced at work and in daily conversations. With time, she noticed that she was no longer searching for words mid-sentence. Instead, the phrases and expressions she had learned from her practice began to flow more naturally. One of the biggest breakthroughs came when Emma was able to participate in a meeting without feeling nervous. Before, she would freeze up, unsure of what to say or how to say it. But this time, she confidently shared her ideas, using the phrases and vocabulary she had been practicing. She didn't worry about making mistakes, instead, she focused on conveying her message. To her surprise, her colleagues understood her perfectly, and she felt proud of herself for overcoming her fears. Emma realized that fluency wasn't about being perfect, it was about being comfortable and confident. The more she practiced speaking, the more natural it became. She no longer hesitated when she had to speak in English. Even in situations she had once found intimidating, like talking to a client or explaining a complex idea, Emma found herself able to speak with ease. She had discovered that the key to fluency was not memorizing long lists of vocabulary or mastering complex grammar rules. The key was practice, consistency, and confidence. By breaking down her learning into manageable steps, Emma had gradually built the skills she needed to speak English without hesitation. The more she spoke, the more she learned, and the more fluent she became. Emma's journey was proof that with time, dedication, and perseverance, anyone could overcome the challenges of learning a new language and speak confidently. By the end of her journey, Emma had not only solved the problem she once struggled with, but she had also become much more confident in her ability to speak English with ease. She was no longer intimidated by conversations or nervous about making mistakes. Emma's ability to communicate effectively had transformed, and she now spoke naturally in both professional and personal settings. She could easily express her ideas during meetings, engage in casual conversations with colleagues, and even give presentations without feeling overwhelmed. The fear she once felt had been replaced by the confidence to speak up, knowing that each conversation was another opportunity to improve. Emma's success was a result of consistent effort and dedication. She learned that speaking English fluently wasn't about perfection, but about progress and persistence. Through practice, she had unlocked the key to fluency, confidence. By the end, Emma realized that learning English was a continuous journey, but with each step, she had become a more skilled and confident speaker. Her story was a reminder to all learners. With patience, practice, and a positive mindset, anyone can overcome language barriers and achieve fluency. Just like Emma, you can improve your fluency with practice. Speaking English gets easier the more you use it. The key is to stay consistent and patient with yourself. Every conversation, every sentence you speak, and every new word you learn brings you one step closer to fluency. Remember, it's not about being perfect, it's about making progress. The more you practice, the more natural it will feel. So, don't be afraid to make mistakes, they are a part of the learning process. Keep speaking, keep practicing, and you'll see how much more confident and fluent you'll become. Keep at it, and you'll achieve your goal. Now, let's take a look at some important words and phrases from today's story that will help you speak more naturally and with ease. The ability to speak smoothly and easily, without hesitation. Example: speaking with fluency means you can express your thoughts without stopping too often to search for words. Doing something repeatedly to improve. Example: Emma practiced every day to become more confident in speaking English. The feeling that you can do something well. Example: when you practice regularly, your confidence in speaking English will grow. To successfully deal with or defeat a challenge. Example: Emma was able to overcome her fear of speaking English by practicing every day. Continuing to try, even when things are difficult. Example: it took Emma a lot of perseverance to become confident in speaking English. We also used some key grammar structures like modals of ability and past continuous in today's story. This helps express ability or possibility. Example: Emma can now speak English more confidently. This is a great sentence to use when talking about something you can do after practicing or learning something new. This tense is used to describe actions happening at a particular moment in the past. Example: at first, Emma was practicing English every day. You can use this when talking about actions that were happening over a period of time in the past. For example, I was learning new words yesterday. Now, I want you to practice these phrases. Try using them in your own sentences. Don't worry about making mistakes, it's all part of the learning process. For example, try these sentences. I practice English every day because it helps me gain fluency. I feel more confident speaking English after practicing for a few months. I used to struggle with speaking English, but now I can speak more easily. I am persevering through my learning journey to improve my English. Keep repeating these phrases, and try to use them in your conversations. The more you practice, the more natural they will feel. Today, we saw how practicing speaking and using new vocabulary helped our character speak English with ease. You can do the same by practicing every day. Just like the character in the story, the more you speak, the easier it becomes. Remember, fluency comes with practice. The more you speak, the easier it gets. If you enjoyed this lesson, make sure to like the video, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell so you don't miss any future lessons on speaking English with ease. Keep practicing, stay confident, and remember, English will get easier every time you speak it. See you in the next lesson.